Good evening, everybody. We're looking at a Division West, East West, lols. Um, Division E West game tonight. Creepy Crawly Spiders versus Kingfishers. We are in Season 13, Round 1 of NGS. Promises to be a fun matchup. We've got some two teams being captained by more seasoned, experienced players, uh, mixed with groups of their friends looking to get into competitive hots. So it should promise to be a good matchup tonight. Our map bans are going to be Dragonshire Cursed Hollow from Creepy Crawly Spiders and Kingfishers band Battlefield of Eternity and Alterac Pass. Creepy Crawly Spiders has chosen to take us to Volskaya Foundry in game one. A good team fight map, pretty easy to read objectives and camp timings that are tried and true, a pretty well established meta, but hasn't seen a presence in Storm League for quite some time. So we'll see how these teams fare. We're still waiting on a player from Kingfishers to complete the very tail end of a game. Everybody gets over eager, trying to get that last little bit of practice in before round one match. Very curious to see what kind of drafts we're going to see. How you doing, Sparrowhawk? Appreciate you. Curious to see how's it going, Geo. Very excited to see what these teams come up with. Um, given the recent patch, we're going to be seeing the small but significant nerfs to Rhaegar. I think that he's still in a good spot, but I haven't toyed with it around around with it too much myself. Johanna is still going to be a high priority on basically any map you play. Diablo is looking really strong with the slight buffs. All right, everybody's in the lobby. Let's make sure that everybody's ready to go. It's like Team One is ready. Looks like Kingfishers is waiting for one of their players to use the restroom, and then we'll get going. Curious to see how these teams navigate their way through the healer meta. We've got, 4 or 5 high priority healers. Stukov is still looking strong. Rhaegar, I'm sure, is still doing just fine. Brightwing, always good. Anduin, always a significant force and has a great save for single target blow up. Some teams can bring out that, hyper carry type assassin Lucio. Think the take meta is also going to be looking solid as long as they get rid of that pesky Johanna. Diablo's looking good. Muradin, always a great pickup. think everybody in the chat agrees that one should hold their bio needs till the end of the game. We've got to, prioritize what's important in life. Video games over biological needs every time. Sometimes you just got to use your internal rage to, clench and hold throughout the entire 20 to 30 minute game. Channel that discomfort. All right, both teams are ready to go, and we're going to fire up and get ourselves into a draft here.
Volska Industries.
Now, I'm very curious how the KingFishers are going to try to manipulate this draft into their favor, having first pick. I don't expect them to ban Johanna. I don't expect them to ban any of the high priority heroes, Arstukov, Johanna, Diablo. They're going to go with a Sylvanas pick coming out first, or a Sylvanas ban. So seeming a little targeted, getting rid of that Sylvanas. They don't want to see any split push action. Sylvanas is also great at enabling the objective to continue to pressure walls with her disabling trait. And we have a disconnect. Let's see who we lost and how we can get them back into this small indie game. Draft was wrong. Did I have first pick on the wrong team? That is my mistake. He won the first pick. That is my bad. It was KingFishers that brought us to Volskaya. Waiting for one of our players to boot up back into the game. They used the cheat code. It is up down BA start Alt F4, and it gets you a free win. Let's try it on any of your Storm League games. Confirming with both teams that they're still ready to go. And off we go.
Volska Industries.
Marty, we're going back to the draft. So first ban coming out from Creepy Crawly. First ban out, Garrosh. Solid tank to take out, especially if you want to try to manipulate the draft in favor of a Diablo pick. Could also be a targeted ban towards the tank player coming out from the red team. And that Sylve ban again. Not just some, first ban prio manipulation. And the Junkrat, great zone control to get off the table. Very annoying hero to deal with. Very hard to answer. And KingFishers taking Nazebo off the table. Great macro hero, does a lot of zone control, area denial. Choosing to leave Johanna, Rhaegar, and Diablo all still on the table. And now Creepy Crawly has a big decision to make on who they're going to prioritize. I'm expecting Joe, and there it is. Johanna out of the first pick. Great tank, tons of damage, CC. 2 great ultis with a ton of utility. Hard to go wrong with the Johanna first pick.
I'm in.
And Malfurion Kira coming out for the 1-2. Malfurion, great sustain healer, saw some buffs in the most recent patch. And Kira, a very devastating assassin if you start landing your abilities. Hard to kill with that self-sustain.
For the Nexus!
Orphea Greymane, solid damage profile coming out of Creepy Crawly Spiders. Some good burst damage coming out of both heroes, along with some sustain. Greymane bringing that really strong siege pressure. You're allowed to sit on structures. An Anduin ban coming out of KingFishers. So trying to deny some strong healer potential. Get that light bomb, Johanna, falling sword combo off the table. And a variant. So they don't want to see any taunt variant business. They don't want the shield breaker to be a liability against their Johanna. Gazlo and May. Gazlo, great area denial. Loves sitting on those long, drawn out objectives that Volskaya has. And May can be pretty annoying for Greymane and Kira, both having a good amount of their damage profile relying on their auto attacks. A Samuro for the offlane, and Brightwing is the support for Creepy Crawly Spiders. And a Kel'Thuzad coming out for the ranged damage from KingFishers. They've got a lot of combo potential, a lot of CC from KingFishers, where Creepy Crawly Spiders is bringing some pretty devastating, hard-hitting damage dealers, and then the ever-annoying Samuro X Factor. I think both teams are bringing a lot to the table. Both have some strong siege potential, some devastating combos. A lot is going to come up to execution. I think Johanna being able to run at Kel'Thuzad is going to be a big factor in whether or not Creepy Crawly Spiders is going to be able to push into KingFishers, or if KingFishers is going to lay some mad CC and make it a really tough time to stay coordinated for Creepy Crawly.
Commence combat preparations.
So from our left side, from Creepy Crawly Spiders, we see Orphea, played by Savior123 and Kid,
The battle
playing our
begins
Johanna,
in
Cordona
10
on the right wing.
seconds.
We've got, starting out in bottom line, Dom
Five,
Scythe on
four,
Samuro, and
three,
Calm rounding it out on the Greymane.
One.
On our right hand side, we've got
Let the battle
Billy Bob Joe
begin.
sitting on the Kira, Leroy Gankins on Kel'Thuzad, and got Gucci on Maltheria, and the Gazelle being piloted by Bloodlust and Killer Clip on the May. We've got 4-5 in mid, starting out for the red team, looking to clear that lane to get priority, and the blue team trying to shove a bit on top. It's like a bit of a untypical rotation. We've got the red team trying to zone out and control these lane priorities. Now, Creepy Crawly Spiders looking to clear the lane, but 4-man attack coming from the red team almost kills Orphea, but she escapes with her life. Meanwhile, Greymane and Brightwing are taking the turret camp. Good thing to have coming up for this objective. The lanes are being cleared pretty efficiently by both teams. Orphea and Johanna continue to rotate, picking up that extra speed. Both teams are staying fairly agile, soaking up that XP, not really looking for major fights or pickoffs. Samuro in the bottom lane is being a pest against that Gazla. Over on the red team's turret camp, it looks like Greymane and Brightwing are going in for a gank on Kira, and they get the kill. Great first blood and a huge pickup picking up that turret. That'll give them a huge advantage coming into the first objective. Gazlo's trying to make a little bit of something happen against his Brightwing, but he's going to have a hard time getting much done. We're starting to see a bit of a XP divergence between the two teams. That Johanna enabling the wave here with Orphea is giving CCS a little bit of a level advantage. They start to go for this heal camp. They're able to get it without too much of a contest. Kira comes in for an engage, or May tries to follow up, but not much happens. A couple of cooldowns are exchanged. Kel'Thuzad trying to get some stacks together. We're coming into our first objective. Neither team is at 7 yet. Both are still soaking. We're going to posture around for this objective. Bloodlust of Gazlo is starting to take a bit of damage, but I think he's going to get out there safe. Meanwhile, our red team is trying to macro, trying to catch up to that 7 mark. They're pushing up top lane with a wave. Gazlo's trying to get some soak from bottom. Meanwhile, the control point is being controlled by the blue team. Camp has been gotten by Kira. It's going to be pushing up top lane, but Brightwing's still pushing up there, getting some side soak XP. He's going to use that Z to teleport in, only to get that Johanna topped off. Here we go. A lot of the blue team is taking some sustained damage as they're fighting 4v5 here. Both teams trading blows, Brightwing getting a little low. May is also taking a huge bit of damage. Greymane manages to pop up on that Kel'Thuzad. The objective goes over to the blue side, but the fight still goes on. That big turret advantage, as well as the healing beacon, allowed the blue team to continue to sustain through a lot of that fight and lose no bodies. This objective is going to open up on the wall, and the red team, without having a sustained auto attacker, is going to take a good bit of damage from this first protector. Meanwhile, Samuro is trying to clean up the mess in top lane. This objective is still going to keep pounding away at the fort. They get the front wall. It's not likely they're going to get too much more. There's no well to snipe anymore. Appreciate that, Sparrowhawk, for reminding me to bring the talents up.
So that is the extent of the protected
And Gazel
power.
lands a fantastic bomb to trap the 2 players coming out of that objective. Looks like with a well-timed Z from Brightwing, Greymane will survive, as will Brightwing. Orphea was able to get a good pick-off in top lane against Kira, trading 1 for nothing. Rotations are continuing, and we're now seeing 10s for creepy crawly spiders. We're going to see Falling Sword, which has become the meta. We're going to see continuing of the Samuro Windwalk build. It's going for that Blade Storm. It's going to allow some major split push. Greymane hasn't picked yet. Brightwing with a fairly standard blink heal. And Orphea with the collapsing jaws, the crushing jaws. Great follow-up for that Johanna jumping engage. May has not picked 4 or 7 yet. Johanna's coming in on this Orphea. It looks like she's in a bit of a hard spot. Great roots to keep Orphea out of danger. And the push bottom continues. They're starting to open up that lane using that 10 advantage with a good siege pressure. Johanna's just going to calmly walk away, but Greymane is in a bit of trouble. Great sustained healing from the support. Johanna comes in with a Falling Sword and pops off Kira. El'Thuzad uses the ulti combo, manages to get Greymane off the field. And with the drop of the turret, looks like they're trying to make something happen with that kill in bottom lane. Blue team wisely, calmly backs up, gets themselves some space. In the top lane, we're starting to see Samuro push in the Gazel a bit. They're trading HP, but at the end of the day, Samuro is going to be able to use Heart Trick as well as some other Samuro shenanigans. Sam doesn't get the kill that he was looking for, and this could be curtains for Samuro being on top lane. And Samuro does get popped. It's a good pickup for the red team. Orphea, Brightwing, and Joe continue to siege in bottom lane, but their siege pressure is greatly minimized with that Greymane, who has been taking the top camp in preparation for this objective. And now KingFishers is starting to get some good siege pressure of their own. They're taking out this top wall. It's going to get them some good value if they're able to pick up this objective. Clearing the lane using May's trait to enable their push is also fantastic. Got their siege camp pushing in as well. Meanwhile, in bottom lane, a tower dive to try to pick off this Gazlo. The blue team suffers a bit of damage, but no losses. They're able to get that fort most of the way down, but not a complete structure as of yet. Samuro doing a great job holding up this assault in the top lane, using that ulti to clear the way. All the while, red team is channeling the objective in top. Johanna and Brightwing picking up the turret on bottom in preparation for re-invading on this point. They do have a talent tier advantage right now, and that window is slowly closing. May wisely sitting in the bushes here, waiting for some kind of opportunity. And now the blue team, with their turret, with their talent advantage, there are actually 2 turrets. They're going to assault this at this point. Johanna is in there deep, getting low on HP, but the Z comes in just in time. Samuro uses a great dodge to grab the bomb. The CC from the red team is holding a lot of players in place, but the damage is flying from both teams. We see 2-3, so it's a 2 for 3 in favor of creepy crawly spiders. 2 for 4, actually. Kira looks to be going down. It's a 2 for 5 in favor of creepy crawly spiders. And now they've got the opportunity to channel as they like. Samuro continues to live, has great split push ability, so they're likely to pick up 16 sooner than later. Brightwing is able to top off that Greymane. And a healthy Greymane is a happy Greymane, able to siege up on the wall if they so desire. Now, the respawn times are still fairly short at this point in the game. We're likely going to see another engagement unless that window closes around level 16. Both teams still have all of their structures up, so it's, you know, very far from an end game. Everybody's posturing around this point. 16 versus 13 talent here is a difficult one fighting. Joe comes in, scoops all of the players up, nice healthy damage. Gazlo, in the meantime, just gets crushed by the jaws in the back. May with a great snowball. You see Orphea fall. Joe comes in with a great falling sword to pop off. Elthazad, a lot of damage, but a lot of damage coming in as well. Joe just holding on, skin of her teeth. It's a great Z from his right wing. 2 for 3 at the end of that large bout. And the blue team walks away with the objective and a number of low players, but they're able to get into this mech and start pushing. Kira and May alone to defend. This mech is likely going to get this fort if they so desire, without much resistance. Samuro is going to be doing Samuro things, clearing lanes, getting XP, widening that experience gap. And they decide they don't want that structure. They're going to move towards mid, probably in preparation for an end game push should they get the third objective. Now they're cycling back up to the top fort. Could be giving Samuro some room in bottom. Samuro's slowly getting that bottom fort. While Orphea's here, giving some support to this objective. She's not a massive siege hero. She's more providing slows and support and a little extra damage in case somebody steps out and makes a mistake with their health pool. And the red team is pursuing, now that they have their 16 talents, they are emboldened and looking to try to get something going here. They've lost no keeps, just forts, so they're going to see periodic catapult pressure, but nothing super urgent. May continuing to not pick a level 16 talent. Both teams picking up their turret camps here. May is trying to complete the destruction of that fort in top. Get some catapult pressure for the red team. Both teams posturing around, trying to find some kind of target to pick off. Right wing with that, level 16 polymorph. Might have caught Kira, but no kill there. Now for 5 deep kill. Gazlo's not present in this fight. Kira with a massive stun. Great snowball coming up from the May. The blue team looking really healthy, same with the red team. Gazlo doing Gazlo things, pushing bottom all over this fight. Samuro is going to address it in bottom. Looks like the blue team are considering going for a gank down there, but the red team is also responding in kind. Kel'Thuzad clearing the top lane, getting rid of that siege pressure that was sent by the camp. It looks like the blue team is going to try to dive this tower, going for that Kel'Thuzad, who is in danger. Red team is responding quickly. While that looked like it was a great gank attempt, now we're seeing Crawly Spiders the victim of a huge grab bomb. Great attempt at a cleanse from Johanna, but it wasn't enough to save Orphea. Now Johanna herself, without her shield, without a save, gets popped by that Kel'Thuzad damage. You get a 2-for-0 in favor of the red team, and that closes a bit of the experience gap. All the while, Samuro pushing bottom lane, getting level 20s for the blue team. They will be up in time to take advantage of their level 20 talent tier, while the red team continues to build towards it. KingFishers picking up this heal camp, great utility on the objective point. They also have a turret. They say each item that a team holds is like having an extra half player, so having a 2-0 item advantage is like having a 6v5, which is great for the red team. Samurai going to clear this
Control it
lane.
and you can pilot the protector.
Greymane waiting for the camp to spawn to pick it up, making sure that the opposing team can't steal their turret while they're down the body. Brightwing, just doing Brightwing things, casually waiting on the point, has great escape mechanics so can run away as soon as the other team shows their faces. Dazzle's doing a great job keeping this wave pushed up. For a second there, it looked like it might have cost him his life. His spidey senses were tingling, if you will. It looks like before 20s, Gazlo is deep in trouble. Good feeling from the mouth there and keeping alive for now. It looks like it's not going to last for long. Samurai's coming in from the back, looking to pick off that Gazlo. Gravabomb comes up, and now it is 5v5 over this protector. Great snowball from May, doing a lot of work. Those two heroes are now chain CC'd to death. A big pop from the red team. Now it's 20v20. 3 deaths on the blue side, and now it's just Samurai lonely in the protector, not able to get much done. Better to have won it than lost it with that huge combo set up by that May snowball. But it'll be a great opportunity for the red team to start doing some macro, getting some advantages on the map. I don't think that they can end going all the way into top lane, but getting a keep or getting the boards evened out was a great boon for the red team. Samuro is able to escape because it's Samuro. Greymane settling in the bottom lane and trying to get the wave pushed out. There's no sense in Greymane trying to defend this structure alone. Turret was dropped to secure this structure.
Red team has destroyed the fort.
Samurai able to sneak this camp before the opposing team could even look at it. Now 5 roaming the map, seeing if they can get any more picks. Their big ulti combo on the from KingFishers is now up. Next big fight could very well be over this healing camp. Healing beacon being extremely valuable, 20% HP of restoration. So the blue team is trying to maintain their status over this point from Maze and early control. Very difficult. Snowball comes out and it hits nobody. Johanna falling sword, lightning hits from the air, Maze taking buckets of damage. So is Samuro. Samuro pops it almost instant. Joe with some really big scoops, but is unable to sustain through the colossal amount of damage coming her way. We get a 3 for nothing in favor of KingFishers, despite missing the snowball. Gravel Bomb, KTZ combo doing oodles and oodles of damage. Now KingFishers is looking to pick out some structure. Gazo went back to clear up the lane behind so they can finally get minions pushing against the structure to enable them to either get keep or even look to end it there, but to get some kills in. And May, as pointed out by the chat, still has not picked level 20, saving it for that level 30 power spike. And against some pretty steep odds, Greymane and Orphea have been able to defend this structure to ward off a huge attack from KingFishers. Greymane and Orphea able to push out just buckets and buckets of damage, and being enabled by having a fort wall, a fort to stand by, or a keep to stand behind. It does enable them to really shell. Looks like CCS is able to stabilize on the map. They still have a structure advantage of 1 fort. This next objective is starting to roll off. KingFishers picking up their turret. CCS is now roaming. Looks like they're trying to find any kind of pick off any kind of straggler. While Gazlo in the bottom lane doing work on this fort. Those ranged minions doing colossal amounts of damage. This fort is likely to go down in the contest. But seeing Dazzle from the bottom lane, TCS now invades the corner. Snowball comes out and whips. The Johanna Falling Sword providing the cleanse and Colossal and KTZ doing work on the time. It's 3 kills. We have a 4 for 2, 4 for 2 for 5 in favor of KingFishers. KingFisher with 3 bodies up. Could look for structure. Might continue to complete this channel. Only 1 body needs to stand on it. Doesn't channel any faster the more bodies that you get. Gazlo doing the push thing, getting some structure. And Kira pulling the protector. Looks like she's gonna ride it up towards top lane, their most vulnerable lane.
Has taken control of a protector.
This is easily the key, but without the additional pressure from Gazlo, I'm not sure that they're going to be able to go for any type of end scenario here. Now this protector scales tremendously into the late game, so the first protector might look kind of weak, but this level 24 protector has thousands upon thousands of protector being sawn down by this Greymane and this Orphea. All the while, Samuro, Brightwing, Johanna all collapsing on this poor Gazlo who's doing like a huge gravel bomb, but with nobody following it up, gonna get no value. That is an unfortunate pickoff for the red team. Blue team, thankful to get that to hopefully stabilize this game a bit. Protector's roaming, a bit dangerous, being out there in the field with all of that CC. Brightwing and the Johanna ready to pounce as they pop out of that protector. Kel'Thuzad is present with the big combo potential, but they're missing Gazlo. KTZ stepping forward, looking for that ability, opportunity to throw that big AoE root against the opposing team. Johanna stepping up, getting a good scoop. Using her trait at the perfect time to avoid the chain. Now Kira is in a good bit of damage. Crushing Jaws barely misses. The Snowball also comes out and lands on nothing. Johanna's Falling Sword pops Kira. Here comes the big combo. Kel'Thuzad and Gazlo. And it gets cleansed and healed up by Johanna, and now we've got another 1 for nothing, but this time in favor of CCS. Brightwing is a little bit low in the back. Looks like they're going to park and Z back in. Johanna getting a little bit low here. Great opportunity here to pick up this turret camp, being up alive. And the ults of KingFisher are down, so great opportunity to fight for the blue team here.
Is under attack.
Got some Katas on the core of CCS. Samuro's there to clean them up. All the while, Greymane is going to be picking up this turret camp, and now we're going to see a big item advantage in favor of CCS. 2 turrets do put out a good load of damage. They also block skill shots that don't penetrate. TCS picking up this camp helps alleviate some of that continuous catapult pressure that's coming out of the lane with the vulnerable no peak. I would not be surprised to see a huge bout come out around this healing beacon camp. Samuro scouts out the potential gank with using that clone on cloak talent. Send little clones across, scout in bushes. Samuro meandering around the map. CCS looks like they're going to try to get some damage on this peak wall, see if they can get anything through. May comes in, throws a big snowball, level 20 snowball, and a big avalanche comes out of the May, using her trait to try to survive, but it looks like she's going to sacrifice herself. We get a 1-for-1 there. Great snowball by the May. Tragic that she had to give her life. Samuro is continuing to split push, continuing to be annoying. For the other three are looking to see if they can get some kind of siege pressure here from Johanna, Greymane, and Brightwing, which has a lot of potential for siege. We see Samuro holding the point in top lane, getting some soak using clones. All the while, Brightwing, Greymane, Johanna are pushing bottom, and it's giving KingFisher a difficult decision to make. Do they stop the siege on bottom? Do they try to go hard and get fight down their main engage of their tank? Or do they hold off Samuro on the point? Now Gazlo's been able to get control of the point up here. It hasn't cost him much resources as far as HP goes. Samuro is actually taking the worst of this trade so far. Looks like a potential engage. ATZ has been warded off of this turret. And now CCS is looking at having 3 turrets to nothing, which is a huge advantage in a big level 25 team fight. And this team fight is should be the end of this long enduring. Assuming that we get a team fight at all, it looks like CCS is going hard on this structure, seeing the entire enemy team scouted by the Samurai on top lane. Kira and May are not enough bodies to stop them. Ooh, good dodge of that snowball. That snowball could have been devastating to CCS. Turret is dropped by Orphea. Looks like the siege continues. Kira is suffering a lot of damage, but she gets a big heal with her W. Now Johanna retreats. Good scoop by Joe to try to heal that Kel'Thuzad off. No trait quite yet. Looks like Johanna's going down, 2-for-1. And the objective is now pushing in mid lane for KingFishers. That objective has so much HP that you can't actually even see the little rivets in its health bar anymore. Even without a gunner in the seat, it's wailing away at the structure. And, you know, obeying conventions, you know, international law, you must take all the keeps before you attack the core. Kel'Thuzad losing quite a bit of health with this Greymane here, and the Samurai. Looks like Kel'Thuzad is going to go down. Great attack with the Samurai here. KingFishers getting a little split away from each other. They still have another minute of time in the Protector. Equal body count on the field, but Johanna is spawning in 10 seconds and ready to call the sword when she comes out of it. May pops as well after throwing what could have been a great snowball. Now this Protector did get KingFishers all of the keeps, which is very significant macro pressure, but it did not secure them the game. Now CCS is looking to clean up the map. They have a big body advantage now and good macro ability through Samuro, Go, and Greymane. They could theoretically look to get some more picks and go for an end themselves. Samuro going hard here on this Malfurion. The structure is down. And they have another 25 seconds left with no May. And a high-level Greymane could be in it. Oh, and Malfurion pops for that Greymane's go for the throat. Now it's open season on this core. And then the Protector picks up Orphea. Kel'Thuzad coming out from the Hollow Storm, throwing a huge stun, picks up the Greymane. Now the siege pressure for CCS is mostly nullified. No Greymane generally means no core damage. Samurai is going to split off, try to clear off some lanes again. And once again, we see the game go flip-flop from one side to the other. Basically anybody's game. You know, CCS is facing a lot of pressure catalyst in every single lane. They also have a lot of macro heroes. Orphea has great wave clear, Samuro great wave clear, Joe. Even Brightwing can, sustain a lane waiting to Z into a fight. Mei just looking around, seeing if she can get a big devastating snowball. Elphazad also sitting on his R, able to throw that out. We have 5v5 back on the field once again. A lot is going to come out of whether or not Joe is going to be able to Falling Sword, the big CC combo coming out of the pitches. Both teams posturing. KingFishers can smell blood in the water. Catapult pressure is starting to build. They are mounting this attack. Samuro is escaping behind.
Blue team's core is under attack.
May still posturing. Let's see if she can find that snowball. KingFishers has all the time in the world here, having the macro pressure advantage on their side. Rushing Jaws comes out.
Blue team's core is under attack.
Samuro in the back, taking quite a bit of damage, is going to need to heal that off before trying to go in for another attack.
Terminal ready for you.
Mei is coming in. Gathers Samuro, the true body, in the snowball. Samuro blinks out. Grab a bomb, misses. Johanna takes a great scoop. Gets the pop on the Imperium. Samuro manages to live despite taking basically 110% of the damage. Another huge scoop from Johanna. Kill after kill. Set up by the Falling Sword and the scoops. Rayman and Orphea with huge follow-up damage. Now we have 4 dead on the side of KingFishers, while CCS is trying to sustain their core long enough to where they can finish the core of their opponents. It is a mad dash from most of the players of CCS towards their opponent's core. Greymane tailing behind just a little bit. They've got about 30 seconds of nil to no resistance from KingFishers. Greymane Siege being pivotal. Level 27 Greymane is wailing on the core. Mei unable to get back, defend. And this looks like it's GG for CCS. What a back and forth game. I don't think I've seen 2 teams slaughter each other quite that much single game. Looking at some of the numbers coming out of that game, Johanna actually topping the damage meters, absolutely absurd. All over 100k damage, followed very close behind by that Samuro. Mei doing also buckets and buckets of damage. Tanks, the new OP role. You heard it here first. Extraordinary healing numbers from both of these healers, keeping people sustained through fights that just watched health bars go all the way near 0 and then bounce back up. Great work from both teams. Let's see about KingFishers and see who they want. If they want first pick or second pick. That pick. All right, looks like we are going to Tomb of the Spider Queen. KingFishers took first pick, and CCS will be taking us to Spider Queen. Pretty hyped for this Spider Queen matchup. Seeing both teams duke it out pretty much neck and neck for most of the game on Volskaya, a map that is known for going long. Spider Queen is kind of one of those that can either be, a 15-minute game or can be a 30-minute game, depending on how each team manage their macro and their spider butts. We've got players loading into the lobby currently. Now, I am very anxious to see if we get any respect bans out of that game, because there were a lot of fights where Kel'Thuzad was doing just boatloads of damage, and in a map like this where you can get a lot of tight corridors, a lot of close team fights, I can see that hero once again being devastating. That Johanna was clutch, number of fights in that last game. The May did a lot of work with avalanches, you know, super impactful despite not picking talents on occasion. But then again, that could leave open the heroes that we saw banned last game: Sylvanas, Junkrat, super impactful heroes that could have been target bans as well. Looks like Team 2 is ready. Alrighty, here we go into the draft of Game 2. Creepy Crawly Spiders, CCS, leads 1-0 against KingFishers. Into Tomb of the Spider Queen we go.
Tomb of the Spider Queen.
I'm curious to see if KingFishers is going to try to prioritize the Johanna on this map, or if it's going to be banned out from them. They could go with that May again, super impactful in that last game. Great hero, gives you good prio on waves, good area denial. Wouldn't be surprised to see them pick up that Gazlo again as well. Some pretty choice Gravo bombs in that last matchup. We see a Diablo ban this time around. Great map for Diablo. It's good to deny that. And then the Garrosh ban. Definitely getting the impression that the tank out of KingFishers is favored on that Garrosh. Don't want to deal with that, especially on a map with a lot of vision control in those turn-in areas. And Greymane, great respect ban, great hero to ban out. Just got a couple little buffs. And the Johanna ban. They don't want to deal with seeing that Johanna on the opposite side. Great wave clear hero, super hard to punish. Would hate to see it go to their opposing team. This does leave all the supports wide open, but I don't think that either team is looking to really play that Rhaegar at this point. An ETC first pick, that is by some considered brave. ETC getting a small buff, turned up to 11 in this last patch, but still a more fragile tank, but also having one of the strongest kits. Every single button that ETC has is extremely impactful. And here we see the entire damage profile coming out from CCS. Kael'thas, great wave clear hero, one of the few assassins in the game that comes with a stun. And then Sylvanas, banned out last game. Now we're going to see how impactful that hero truly can be on the side of CCS. Both of these heroes as well offer mosh interrupts, which is always a concern when playing into an ETC. And we see white main, very high skill cap hero, and Nazeebo come out from KingFishers. Nazeebo, great late game hero. You can stall out that game where you're getting in the later stages. He just gets so much health, does so much damage, and then provides you with a lot of siege opportunity. And it's a great map for that Nazeebo. You can easily double soak, get all of those, minion kills to stack your big voodoo. Artanis ban. That does seem a bit targeted. Artanis not typically a high priority bruiser, but can be devastating in the right hands. Does, assassin level damage if allowed to stack, and can be a huge nuisance to kill without very targeted coordination. Brightwing ban, always a solid healer to get out of there. Get the polymorph away so that ETC can at least have some dreams of landing that dope mosh pit. Varian comes out, and this is a classic Varian blow-up comp that we're looking at right here. Tyrande, super impactful, high damage support with that stun follow-up. Varian offering the taunt to set up the whole kill chain. Now they're all only missing that bruiser to tie things together. And here we see Medivh, kind of a classical counter to that Varian blow-up, and no true bruiser coming out from KingFishers, probably opting to use that Nazeebo as a safe wave clear to sustain in that off lane, and then using Medivh to keep heroes alive with that shield and portal to deny that Varian blow up. And the Haka from the off lane. The Haka is super, super hard to gank, pretty durable, clears the waves, and then can Z in to cause havoc. Always a challenging pick to play against. See no swaps from either team. I think we're going to see a lot of each team really going back and forth. That white main's cleanse is going to be a huge tool coming into this matchup, as well as her significant burst healing. But at the end of the day, taunts, every 16 seconds, a hero could die. And here we go, into the start of the game. Coming out from CCS, Gib is playing Varian, likely taunt Varian as the tank. Dom Scythe on Haka, Sparrowhawk playing Kael'thas. Mordana on Tyrande, and lagging a little behind, Calm on Sylvanas. Coming out from KingFishers, Killer Cook is playing ETC. Leroy Jenkins on Falstad. Gucci playing that white main. And Billy Bob Joe playing Nazeebo. Leroy Jenkins is going for that Q build on the Falstad, which can do devastating damage deep into the game if you get stacked up, and also provides armor threat, which will very much enable Gazebo's late game spell pack. We're seeing 5 in mid from red, get that lane clear. We see the Haka pushing that lane in bottom almost instantly, and Medivh is coming in to pick up that extra XP. I'm kind of expecting a Nazebo top mid, and Nazebo actually gets popped, standing a little too far out in top lane, and the gank squad of CCS gets Nazebo early. Now that's not too crushing on the gem economy, but losing heroes early will never do you any favors. Now CCS has a great wave clear and pick potential profile. Both Sylvanas and KT offer some decent wave clear. It might be a little challenging for KingFishers to keep in line, given that their main wave clear is coming out of that Nazebo. Falstad's more incentivized to use those Qs on heroes than the waves to get those stacks up, but doesn't mean that Falstad's not bringing any significant wave clear. We're actually seeing Falstad being used against the Dahaka in the 100 bottom. And they're trading blows back and forth. It looks like Leroy Gankins was forced to sit back. And the gank is coming in, but Leroy Gankins' spidey senses were tingling. I'm going to keep using that joke until it gets old. And the blue team, CCS, is looking to pick up this camp in bottom and use that for some good siege pressure. Hawk is able to double soak mid and top. The big taunt on this Falstad in bottom lane, also while picking up this camp, is going to give CCS a good push into this beginning part of the game. And their gem economy is also looking very healthy, clearing the waves, getting those spider bites, using the single target pick comp to do exactly what it is designed to do. Rotate quick, get those kills, and then go somewhere else. Or, do your siege damage. Siege damage they do. Good taunt on this Falstad. Diving under towers is usually not the healthiest endeavor. It looks like they're able to walk away unpunished. All the while the Haka is soaking like a mad dinosaur, mid and top. CCS is looking at a potential turn-in. Might look to try to get that in around level 7 so they have a Palantir advantage. Medivh is scouting out this potential gank.
Your world is upside down.
ETC trying to delay this turn in as best he can. The damage is thrown out by both teams, but neither gets much purchase. Now we have 5 here sitting while Falstad is soaking that bottom lane alone. We're going to be looking at turn-in, most likely, from CCS here. The Haka picking up the last of that soak. Varian continuing to roam. KT is getting a little short on mana. Will likely only be able to continue to fight for a short period of time before having it back. Now let's see if KingFisher reads this camp pickup from CCS. They managed to get their camp rolling, and likely CCS is going to use their own camp at their wall to try to get that camp rolling. KT is a bit out of position because he's really able to take advantage of that great slide and boot of the ETC. Both teams flashing over these 2 camps, 20 spell armor, providing a lot of damage to both teams. Both teams have a lot of damage invested in spell power. Looks like KingFishers is able to maintain their mage and gets the pop on Sylvanas. Vulnerable from that slide. Looks like they're going to look for more Tyrande to out a little bit. Throws a stun at the Medivh portal, try to catch somebody coming out of it. Now KingFishers has nullified any XP advantage gotten from Varian picks. Both teams looking for their turn-in, looking for a kill to enable them to get that advantage that they need. Very, very difficult to sneak a turn-in against a Medivh comp. Varian looking for that taunt, looking to find somebody vulnerable, all the while maintaining the rotations and the lanes. Ooh, EGC gets a taunt out of the gazebo. Still teleports in. Damage is coming out, not quite enough to get that pop. KT's in and looking to dump some damage onto this ETC who's out and without a slide. It's Varian that actually ends up going down and dumping a pile of gems while the red web weavers are coming in. It's potential that Sylv also falls here, but Whitemane unfortunately takes the bait and dies under those fort towers. We have 10s for both teams. We're seeing the isolation from Dahaka, the charge cooldown reduction from Varian, the Warbringer. We're seeing Starfall from Tyrande, so getting that AoE slow and damage. That also was a reset for heal cooldown. And Phoenix from KT, so no Pyroblast into that Medivh. Likely a wise choice. We're looking at Leyline Seal from Medivh, looking at the Ravenous Spirit from Gazebo, looking at the big AoE damage, Divine Reckoning from Sylvanas, and Stage Dive from ETC, making him global, not taking the mosh pit to try to do a God Mosh into 4 heroes that can interrupt him. And now with that objective, we've got some wall damage on the side of KingFisher, but no severe structural lead. And then we have almost 2 turn-ins saved up now for CCS. So it's on them to take advantage of this ability to do a double turn-in, maybe try to get a pick to enable their siege. Haka's looking a little vulnerable in bottom. ETC comes in to try to put some pressure on. And seeing the ETC on bottom, all 4 rush to top. Looks like they're going to have free range to get a lot of siege done up here. Varian even looking for a taunt opportunity. Mind Control comes out, doesn't get any time. The Ravenous Spirit is going to dissuade anybody from coming in. Varian with a great taunt and follow-up from the Tyrande. No kill. ETC stage dives in. He's immediately CC'd by the KT. Takes a lot of damage from the entire pack. Tyrande plucking away, trying to get resets on her field. Sylvanas taking a lot of damage. And Falstad with a gust from behind tries to shove everybody in the corner, but instead he's charged by Varian and taunts. And we traded 1 for 1. The Haka coming in, looking for a tongue, gets slid, holding on to 28 gems. CCS and all of that netted mid-fort, which is valuable, is going to be looking at having another turn-in back-to-back with a very small window of level 13 talent advantage. Looks like CCS is going to try to get this camp rolling, push down, vulnerable at the bottom of the fort. All the while, Tyrande is channeling a good chunk of gems, 38 gems on that Tyrande. Varian holding 14. And likely Dahaka, who's now holding 34 gems and is seen by ETC. is continuing to put pressure by channeling, drawing the attention of the other team. And Varian is able to complete that channel and get that second back-to-back Web Weaver. They've got their Heart Camp ready to channel and send down that same lane with that Spider. That 20 armor does a lot to keep both minions and friendly allies alive under its effect. Now CCS looks like they're choosing to charge down bottom lane, open that up, open the map up so that they continue to have more and more control. And the more structures that go down for CCS's favor, the more they're going to be able to roam for picks safely. ETC charges in that stage dive. That 60 armor keeps him alive for the whole 2 seconds that it's active, but after that, the whole CC chain of CCS just kills the cow. Now this Web Weaver is likely only going to have about 25-30% life by the time it actually gets to this wall. And it'll shell it down. I'm not sure if they're actually going to be able to fully get this keep here, with ETC respawning fairly soon, and then the ley line making it always dangerous to fight these points. Allstat looks like they're coming in from behind, looking for that God Gust. They rip the Gust, but there's unfortunately no follow-up to take advantage of that. Great attempt at it by the Allstat. The Michael comes out to try to get that Allstat, punching for his greed, but no such success. Medivh using his shields to keep himself alive. Great stage dive there. You can see slowing down many members who may not pick up on the Toronto, and then sliding through, trying to get that Dahaka, but Dahaka is so slippery. It looks like Dahaka will actually go down to the pursuit of that Falstad. They're guarding that gem pile wisely. That's almost 40 gems lost on that Dahaka, which is devastating to the gem economy of CCS. Now it looks like KingFishers is going for the boss with 2 down. Now note that Dahaka will have Z and be able to come in on this boss with Team P, and Gust is available again. Short cooldown on that ulti. Medivh scouting, try not to give anything away, but CCS likely knows that this is happening. Very, very difficult to not telegraph when none of your players are on the map. AT shelling in, doing a lot of damage on this ETC. ETC actually falls to this boss. And Gust manages to secure it, but they lose 2 bodies for it. 3, probably 4 bodies to that for that boss, which is not a super favorable exchange, unfortunately. Gazebo holding most of the KingFishers gems, but is possibly going to go down to this variant taunt coming out. A lot of damage goes down, but Gazebo is able to walk away.
Listen and obey.
And now CCS has a boss on their fort, but no bodies from the opposing team. Trying to get some value out of this Sylvanas straight, push down this last fort, and get catapults running down that lane. They've got quite a ways to go until their next turn in, where KingFishers is already looking at their next.
Listen and obey.
Now with 5 bodies on the field, KingFishers might be inclined to start looking for their next turn in. Could be that they're looking for a fight. Great slide on the Toronto, getting over to the most vulnerable, popping that hero almost instantly. AT with a lot of damage. Gets that T, gets a 1-for-1. Gazebo is looking very vulnerable there. Great heal by the White Wing, keeping Gazebo alive for as long as he's on top of it. The White Wing is also going to go down. So far we've got a 3-for-1 in favor of CCS.
Listen and obey.
CCS has such a thick-bodied team, the Haka and Varian at the front, and then KT and Sylvanas, not being the most vulnerable and experienced assassins themselves. KT with a stun, Sylvanas with a very reliable escape. They're a hard team to pin down. and get that kill, that pick on. Taronda's probably their only really vulnerable hero, and while KingFishers have been doing a great job getting that kill into Taronda, the rest of the team is both slippery and hardy to get any following kills after that Taronda goes down. ETC duking out with the Haka a little bit, just trying to keep some vision out, but it's kind of a dangerous place to be without your team backing you up and without vision of CCS's assassins. CCS in the meantime, getting bottom camp, getting that pressure that could eventually leak onto core, and also getting this mage camp going. And they're looking at Kernan. With this mage camp and turn-in, they could easily take a good look at taking down mid-keep. Seeing the party of Red Fisher in bottom lane, CCS is taking this top fort for free, and I can't blame KingFishers for not contesting this fort. Down 20s, it's generally an unwise idea to take any kind of fight unless you have a severe positional advantage. Medivh skulking, finger on that ley line, huge ley line, 4 people. Zebo trying to take advantage of that. Falstad comes in with the gust, looking for vision. So Medivh goes down from the back. Zebo with a counter kill on the Sylvanas, a lot of damage on the Raptor Spirit, but they've got to give some attention to this objective where it's going to take all of their structures. The Spider is going down. Aggressive charge from the Varian on this Falstad. Falstad with a very small health pool does a really good job of shooting away from that Varian last second. And the other structures are going down. KingFishers looking at some damage on their core. Varian hawking from the kill, and Zebo great timing on that ice block. Kel'Thas using that to set up big flank strike. Core damage is stacking up quickly. The members of CCS not even really focusing on the fort, but looking for kills to make sure that they can survive. Kel'Thas has gone down to the ETC, and Haka could easily go down here to the big Nazebo zombie wall. Taronda looking to scoot away. Varian has escaped successfully. Sylvanas has spawned. Can't see Taronda getting out of this alive. However, the longer Taronda lives, the longer CCS has presence and patterns on their core. Sylvanas comes in, almost kills the Falstad. Does she have her escape to get out of here alive? She does. That escape is so powerful. Taunt on the Falstad, huge damage. And this brawl is just trading back and forth. Big ley line. Neither team able to really land damage that's going to stick hard enough to get a kill here. Nazebo on cleanup duty is a big part of their damage profile, but also a big part of their ability to clear waves. And now post 20, we are looking at Kel'Thas taking that extra range on the flame strike, the extra safe. Varian took demoralizing shaft to reduce the damage of incoming enemies. Sylvanas with the mind control CDR, allowing that mind control to be thrown out every 15 seconds. And Haka with the spread on isolation. ETC took the stage dive upgrade, making it much larger, more devastating, slow. Nazebo with that vial infection, already well above stack, can do colossal damage. White Mane with the upgrade to her ult. Falstad looking for a huge gust here off of this ley line. The ley line lands, the scoop lands. Nazebo's damage is massive with that huge setup. Medivh kills Kel'Thas. Nazebo takes out Sylvanas, and Varian now scampering for his life, almost no HP. And Nazebo chasing for this kill, hungry for Varian's blood. all the while web weavers are cleaning up the lanes, pushing up. Most notably, the web weaver in top is likely going to shell down and take down this wall. Another kill on the Tyrande, and KingFishers brought themselves very much back into this game. Allset is chasing this Kahaka hard, looking for that kill, looking for that 5 wipe. Now, on the side of KingFishers, they're looking to try to get as much siege damage as humanly possible here. While their web weavers are down, they still have 4 bodies advantage on the field. Looks like they're going to back up and take this boss. They're very close to their own next web weaver turning as well. To try to use this boss and then piggyback a web weaver wave to try to get some structure, try to get things evened out. Zebo using that ice wall to survive against this boss who's bullying the team. One of the unfortunate struggles of Whitemane as a healer is her inability to sustain in a non-PvP environment. ETC very vulnerable here. Stage dives out just in the nick of time away from that mind control and is now supporting this boss in its push, its journey through top lane. This boss is likely going to get most of this heat, if not all of it. KingFishers looking to tee up almost a hop. The big isolation lands ETC, brings him low on health. Zebo still holding onto that Ravenous Spirit, but is unfortunately shelled by that kill cost, brought him very low on health. And KingFishers might be looking to end off this. It's possible if they're able to chain some kills, especially after the DPC slide, it could be devastating. The Varian coming around looking for a kill on the individual targets. Z-Sice's score is getting devastatingly low from that huge boss. Zebo in the back with that Ravenous Spirit, doing a lot of damage. 2 for 2 kills. Z-Sice's score is getting dangerously low. And KingFishers pull out an extra 17% of damage. ETC is trying. Those Katas and ETC finishes it. What an end of a game. Well played, KingFishers, to tie up this series 1-1. Looking at some of these stats here, KT standing well above the rest on the blue side, doing huge follow-up damage to almost every taunt. Sylvanas bringing a lot of finishing kills. Out of KingFishers, ETC having an impressively low death count for being a solo tank into a single target kill comp. 2 deaths as ETC against a variant tank is very impressive. Whitemane doing absolutely absurd saves throughout that game. Well played to everyone on both teams. Another very even back and forth game until the very end, where KingFishers made a very strong, deliberate, and brave call to go for the core with that very late game boss that just tore through the shields, through that structure, netted them the win in the end. I'm going to get with the captains of the 2 teams and see where we're going to be going in our next game.
Any standout moments to you in that game? Because honestly, I felt like a chicken running around with my head cut off.
I we yeah, a lot of those stage dives
All right, looks like we are going to Barax's holdout as chosen um by KingFishers, I believe. Yep, KingFishers chose Baraxis. We are loading up our lobby here. These last two maps, very much playable as teamfight maps, but also rely heavily on wise macro decisions. Baraxis Holdout, one could argue, has a fair amount of macro decisions as well, but at the end of the day, you are brawling most of this map. There's no, three lanes to rotate through. You're often looking at 1-4, the big bruiser matchup in top, and then the 4 in bottom. Though some teams do choose to play this in like a 1-3-1 or a 1-2-2. There's a lot of different ways to approach this map, but most commonly seen, at least in the Storm League realm, is a 1-4. Expect to see Johanna banned out again this game. I wouldn't be surprised to see that Nazebo banned out. It was banned out in game 1 and then left open in game 2 and did colossal amounts of damage in that game. Checking to see if our captains are ready to go. We'll get ourselves into the final tiebreaker of this best of 3. All right, both captains are ready to go. And here we go, getting into our final draft of the night of CCS versus KingFishers.
Praxis holdout.
the map of Varaxis was chosen by KingFishers, so I'm hoping to see some interesting preparation from them. They might have some cool tech up their sleeves for this map. CCS electing for that first pick advantage. I'm gonna go for the Falstad ban. Great hero for this map, does a lot of sustained damage, as well as offers that global presence so that you can scoop into the off lane, help out your off laner and get a pick there to give you a really big advantage on the map. KingFishers electing to also ban a global Brightwing, also impactful in their ability to scoot off into the off lane. And from first pick position, CCS is banning Johanna. So I'm expecting to see them have some kind of interesting deck that they want to first pick so they don't have to worry about contesting of that Johanna. And Dahaka, another global ban from the side of KingFishers. Also a really solid offlaner, pretty decent duelist. And we don't see the Garrosh ban. So Garrosh is first picked. Great tank, super solid into Diablo, which is quickly becoming a strong meta tank. I wouldn't be super surprised to see the ETC again here. ETC being a great tank to peel and restrain that Garrosh from walking up onto your team. We do see D.Va and Tassadar come out from the side of KingFishers. Tassadar, really safe, long-ranged poke, big damage, and wave clear. Super safe hero and can poke onto that control point. Great pick. And also those walls can be absolutely devastating. And then D.Va, just really solid, wave clear. You can use that explosive bomb to either get prior on waves or control that point. And then Mouth and Junkrat come out from the side of CCS. Junkrat, devastating in all of the obvious ways. You can set up traps for Garrosh to throw onto. You can boop heroes either defensively or offensively. And then Malfurion, maybe the most preferred healer for Garrosh. Those sustained heals over time allow Garrosh to stay in that zone where he's got a good amount of armor because of his missing health, but the heal over time keeps him popping back up. And then, of course, those roots, especially with the sleep at the end, can be very strong. We're seeing an Orphea ban out of Kingfisher, which is a really strong sustain mage that offers some good wave clear and slows. Seeing a Mei ban, I think out of respect, coming out of the side of CCS, we don't want to see any more amazing snowballs that just absolutely devastate the team. We do see Muradin, great tank to go into Garrosh with, has some slows, some stuns, is able to jump out and save himself. Also a massive health pool. And then Anduin as well. Maybe the ideal healer to take into Garrosh for that single target save after a big throw. And then Light Bomb with Garrosh is also a very devastating combo. Light Bomb with Muradin is a devastating combo. And Samuro in the off lane, really, really strong hero, big single lane bully. Then we see Genji coming out from Leroy Jenkins. The newly buffed Genji has some interesting tech talent choices, is a great vehicle for that light bomb. Isn't the safest damage in the entire world, but is able to dash or jump out from being Garrosh thrown. So offers his advantages in his own way. Tychus was picked up on the side of CCS, which is one of those heroes that can devastate any tank, any health pool that exists. And if Muradin finds himself locked down, we could easily see that Tychus taking him from 100 to 0 in the duration of, a Garrosh throw, stun, mouth root combo. Here we are loading into this game. We have two very exciting drafts. The Garrosh finally getting to be seen in this game. On the side of CCS, we are looking at Sparrowhawk piloting that Tychus, Cordona on the Malfurion, Gib on the Garrosh, Dom Scythe on the Samuro again, and Savior playing the Junkrat. Killer Kook
Systems
tanking
online.
on the Muradin. We
10
have
seconds.
Gucci playing Anduin, Billy Bob Joe on that
5,
Tassadar, and
4,
Leroy Gankins playing
2,
Genji.
1.
Then in the top lane, we have Bloodlust playing Diva.
Facility online.
The Diva Samuro matchup is a tough one for Diva. The Samuro has the ability to do a lot of bullying against the way that Diva does her damage, but Diva's self-sustain can help her win out if she is using that level 1 talent, the full metal, to gain extra additional healing against multiple targets. We see Genji thrown in again, using that dash, just eating that cooldown of Barrage so that she's no longer a big threat. In the top lane, Samuro has already taken a mech off of Diva, which is an unfortunate consequence of that matchup. I wouldn't be surprised to see Genji do a quick rotate into that lane to help alleviate some of that pressure that Diva's in. Looks like Samuro is doing a heart trick to regain health. But Diva is trying to kill those clones so that Samuro cannot get that full heart to reach. See a throw on the Tassadar and Garrosh. Tassadar's fine, Anduin is watching. Leroy Gankins is continuing to put pressure on this Garrosh, just auto-attacking, slowly chipping away like a mosquito. Looks like we have Muradin rotating into the top lane.
Control them. Please let this work.
Diva's able to hold that point, and just a moment, I need to get rid of this display. I forget the hotkey for this, but I have it up somewhere. Diva's continuing to control that point. There we go. Muradin sitting on bottom point. Junkrat's trying to control it with the traps. And Garrosh is looking for a throw onto this Tassadar. Great route by the Malfurion to try to follow up. Tassadar manages to wiggle away and sidesteps. Genji continuing to be a pest and dashing out. Diva showing an impressive display, holding her own against the Samuro. Looks like Samuro is actually going to fall here. Diva doing a great job winning a very challenging matchup in that lane. Unfortunately, the pull goes on the Muradin here, and it looks like Tassadar is likely going to find his end through that throw. The KingFishers are able to get the full channel against a small 18% channel from the side of CCS. And this push is going to be challenging to defend against, but fortunately for CCS, they have two great wave pool heroes in Tychus and the Junkrat. Garrosh is probably going to continue to look for opportunities here, but can't really step too far in and take all of that damage from his Guardians. Murder here gets thrown in, is taking quite a bit of damage. Genji tries to get a trade, but ends up dying for his sins. It ends up being a 3 for nothing in favor of CCS, despite being under siege from that Zerg wave. Pull out 3 kills, then nets them a lot of XP and brings them basically even as far as XP goes.
Zerg waves defeated.
Unfortunately, they
Resetting
did
plans
lose
as per
both
protocol.
front walls to the forts. D.Va continuing to be annoying against the Samuro, using her long-range poke to lower his health. And that makes it harder for Samuro to continue to do the Samuro Hearth trick. The lower HP his minions have, the lane opponent can actually kill those minions in time to stop the Hearth if they're aware of that trick. Looks like KingFishers is getting their camp to help sustain them against this siege. Looks like we could be seeing an invade, but it's a little bit too late from the side of CCS. Garrosh stepping up, seeing if he can find somebody to chuck into his team. Burden leaps in and he will not have his E to escape when he gets thrown in by the Castar, or by the Garrosh. But the Castar damage on this Valkyrion is too much to sustain through. They end up getting that kill. Murden continuing to aggress with ease. Leroy Gankins on Genji, dashes in, looking for that kill off the deflect, but doesn't get it. Castar with a very strong wall onto that Garrosh. Garrosh having to use Unstoppable to get out of that continuous oppressing slow. This Murden is positioning very aggressively, keeping the opposing team away from defending and using their fort for defense. All the while, Leroy Gank stepping up, using deflect, annoying the healer. We're seeing a big rotation out of KingFishers into the top left hard camp of their opponents, taking that off the map so that their opponent can no longer use it against them. We do see an aggression from this Garrosh. D.Va doesn't have a bomb charge, so it makes this a little risky. And the Genji does get picked off. Great focus fire from the side of CCS. Castar also getting very low. D.Va likely going to lose her mech here unless she gets the last of the charge. Samuro is able to pick off that Castar. Looks like Animal is also going to keep this route, and it's going to be a 3-0 in favor of CCS. CCS able to get a lot of kills after KingFishers does a lot of siege damage. Ideally, CCS will be able to use these kills in order to equalize and gain some siege damage, but if they're spending all of their time playing catch-up, it will be a difficult challenge for them. Up here, I'm looking for that aggressive route against this D.Va. Looks like we have Shard going in favor of CCS. Looks like we have a disconnect from somebody needs a pause.
Hero slain.
There we go. Bring us back up to our preview screen. Disconnects are quite unfortunate. As we stand, CCS is ahead on XP, ahead on kills, 10-2. Both Junkrat and Tychus are looking at their stacking quests in the rhythm and Case for Explosions. Samuro opting for a slightly different build this game than they did in game 1. Samuro was the macro Windwalker Bladestorm build in game 1 and is now more of a lane bully build. KingFishers having just hit 10, are currently taking their ults. We're looking at Black Hole from Cassadar, Micro Missiles from D.Va. Murden took Avatar. And on the side of CCS, we're looking at Taunt from Garrosh, Odin from Tychus, Bladestorm from Samuro, the Silence from Malfurion, and Riptide from Sunset. Samuro taking a good bit of damage, trading it against the Genji, trying to maintain the hold of this bottom point, trying to stay safe. And the rotation comes in, Garrosh looking for a split, likely this cast off, but the Unstoppable runs out just in time when the Black Hole pushes through. Tychus in a bit of danger. Silence comes out and it hits many targets. Genji comes in with a big Dragon Strike. And Castar comes up with the kill onto that Samurai. TCS is looking at having a full wave. The Tassadar damage is very difficult to sustain through, especially once Mouth is gone. And KingFishers now, being the victim of the macro disadvantage, finds themselves up with 4 kills. Oh. Thank you for reminding me to turn the overlay back. Thank you, chat. Genji finds himself a kill onto this Junkrat behind the wall, but ends up falling to the structure damage.
I obey.
With that slight body advantage, KingFishers are looking at taking the siege camp away from CCS.
Here we go.
The KingFishers is looking at a small level 13 advantage, that window closing very shortly. KingFishers is also going to look at painting the rest of the map red here. Likely not seeing much worth in forcing a fight with that level 13 advantage. Currently, CCS posturing around the map, trying to clean up the macro pressure that's been put on them by KingFishers. They've scouted this attempt at a boss take. D.Va with an active bomb is going to offer a lot of control of this camp, as well as that big Cassadar Black Hole. Odin is deployed, trying to wrest this very valuable boss from their point control is too strong. With a D.Va bomb and the Cassadar Black Hole. Walking into that killing machine, CCS finds themselves down 3 bodies. Genji is in pursuit of Garrosh down here. Not sure if he's actually going to be able to finish this kill. Garrosh is extremely difficult to finish. Leroy Gankins finds himself walking away with 30 HP. Meanwhile, in the top left, the Bruiser camp gets taken by KingFishers to push along with this boss. And this is a really difficult push to stop. Even at level 15, the boss has a lot of siege potential. D.Va offers quite a bit of siege as well, as does Cassadar. Genji maybe being the only hero that's not a siege monster on that team. Looks like the defense from CCS is going to be strong. It might lose 10-20% off their board. Genji, meanwhile, tagging both fronts, getting that macro pressure on so that a big third wave keeps lighting their way get received. Murden, though, comes in with a light bomb enabled by Anu, gets a pick. Samurai also goes down, as does Garrosh. Now we are looking at a lot of pressure coming down on this core with no shielding and only 80-70% left of HP. Ike is also getting low. Murden ends up going down. D.Va mech falls. Cassadar gets the kill onto Junkrat, and now with that Odin deployed, they're gonna have to question whether or not they can actually go for the Genji comes in out of the blue, and now it is a 5 fight, but most of them are low on HP. They do have minions coming back, and with 60% on the core, they are going to go for advantage. KingFishers showing great display in this final game of this series. And that will be GG in favor of KingFishers. Great games, two huge, enormous, enduring slugfests found on Volskaya Foundry and Tomb of the Spider Queen, followed by a very solid draft coming out from KingFishers, giving them a lot of very strong both macro and team fight advantages in that last game. Looking at the numbers, Samuro continues to be a strong hero for CCS, doing a lot of damage, being a pest in that lane, but D.Va held her own very well, sustained XP and managed to sustain that lane, holding that point. I'm going to see if I can get an interview with one of the players. Short game determined before level 20, level 16s were taken on the side of KingFishers. I'm going to see if I can get my, I have some headset issues for my incoming audio. I'm going to see if I can get that resolved real quick and get in for an interview. Test, test, test. Still having a bit of an issue trying to get my incoming audio solved. What the My headphones literally don't work for some reason.